ẹ̀yin ọmọ Yorùbá ṣe ti ń rí báyìí nísìnyí pé Babangida ti ń ṣe ó ti ń fi ẹnu ara ẹ̀ sọ̀rọ̀ pẹ̀lú orí wíńṣíà tó jókòó sí àbí wíìgì ṣíà ibi tó bá wọ̀ tó bá tẹ̀ jókòó sórí òfurufú kò sí tó kàn wá ṣe ti rí báyìí nísìnyí pé ó lóun mọ̀ pé òun mọ̀ pé Abiola MK Abiola ló wọlé ńgbà náà nípa àwọn ọmọ dànù ni ẹ wú àtìgbà tó ti ń fi ìyà jẹ ọmọ Yorùbá bọ̀ ṣe báyìí náà ti rí báyìí pé Ọlọ́run ló mọ̀ fíngàn bóyá ó ti ń wò pé bóyá òun ò ní pẹ́ páyín ṣó ti yé wa so òun ló jẹ́ kó ara máa sọ̀rọ̀ yẹn bọ́ táwọn ló tún kọ́ òwe kan náà tẹ́ bá máa wo òwe tó kọ yẹn iṣẹ́ ibi tán ti ṣe ló wà nú ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ ni kò sí rọ́ńbẹ̀ ẹ wá lọ gbọ́ bí Mr. Koiki bí wọ́n ṣe ṣàlàyé in fact Mr. Koiki wọ́n really try gidi gan ni ẹ wá lọ gbọ́ bọ́n ṣe ṣàlàyé ọ̀rọ̀ tí Babangida wọn tó sọ ń gbà náà ẹ wá lọ gbọ́.
That should be awake, protesting from yesterday and asking why somebody like MK Abiola was killed by Babangida and many of their criminals within the network called Nigeria have left everything to God to take action. Good morning and welcome to the 21st of February 2025, depending on what time you are, different time zone around the world. My name is Olayomi Koiki, and as we continue to use our platform to educate and prepare us under the leadership of Professor Adebanji Akintoye, while we need to leave Nigeria before people like Babangida, Buhari, Gowon, Abdulsalam, and many more kill many Yoruba people within Nigeria. Nigeria is a crime scene and it will remain so forever. The option under the leadership of Baba Akintoye is now available, and it is time that we say it exactly the way it is. But the reality is that many Yoruba people believe that one day things will get better and things will change within the network of Nigeria. And that is why we continue to suffer within Nigeria today. That is why we continue to suffer, because our expectation is that one day Nigeria will be a successful place and you would also become someone within Nigeria. Àsìkò tí gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá gbọ́dọ̀ mọ̀ nísìn pé a ti mọ àwọn ọ̀tálẹ̀ Yorùbá, àwọn tí wọ́n fún ní nǹkan nínú ilẹ̀ Yorùbá tí wọ́n wá ń lò, tí wọ́n fi ń ṣọrọ̀ ajé, tó fi ń ṣọlá, tó ní kí gbogbo àwa tó kù ká tún máa lọ prepare fún 2027, àwọn jẹgúrújẹrá, àwọn olè, àwọn bomb bastard. Àwọn tó mú ayé ọmọ Yorùbá tó tọ̀nà upside down, tó ń sọ fún yín pé kẹ́tù lọ máa múra sílẹ̀ fún ìdìbò míì ní 2027. But the criminals are laughing at us because we are all stupid not to have activated. And I'm talking to Nigerians now, whether you are Yoruba, whether you are Igbo. But people are not ready to sacrifice anymore because they believe that God is coming to sort out their problems. But God knows that some of you are stupid because God is not coming anywhere to resolve any problem within Nigeria. We have to resolve our problem ourselves. So as I welcome you again to this transmission, I say good morning and welcome as we continue our education and reason why Yoruba people must now take their destiny and exit this contraction that British created for the Fulanis. And we've seen how the Fulanis have been able to manipulate every single one of us. How they made MK Abiola and they eventually killed him. And how those that wanted to challenge them, like Delegiwa was killed by Babangida, and how they continue to kill many innocent Yoruba people as we speak today. The question is, when is this going to stop? Nígbà wo lélẹ́yìí máa stop? If you are waiting and praying that things will stop, things will get worse, nothing will change out. Waris Jinadu says the devil says the truth. Who is the devil? Babangida, Gowon, Abdulsalam, many criminals that have enriched themselves and also giving oil block to all their friends and girlfriends to intimidate millions of Nigerians. And this is the reason why Yoruba people should leave Nigeria alone to those that want Nigeria, because Nigeria will never be a successful place because there is no unity. Abiola was killed because he was a Yoruba man. Abiola was killed by the Europeans. Abiola was killed by the Fulanese, the Caliphate, the Sultan. And Abiola was also killed by many Yoruba people that he helped, many Yoruba people that he trusted, many Yoruba people that he believed in. Eventually, Abiola became one of those that sacrificed himself for Nigeria. The question is, why should we continue to celebrate this criminal country, even though evidence is right in front of us? Ṣé èdè ló mú wa ni? Àbí èpè ló mú gbogbo wa? Tépè bá mú ẹ̀yin kò lè mú àwa, kò lè mú ìran Yorùbá. But tá bá jókòó tẹ́tẹ́rẹ́tẹ́ tí a ṣe kankan, á jẹ́ pé èpè ti mú gbogbo wa nìyẹn. Èpè ò dẹ̀ mú wa nítorí pé a ti rí òtítọ́. Òtítọ́ dẹ̀ ni pé Babangida náà lòun pa Abiola pẹ̀lú àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá tí wọ́n fún ní oil block tó ṣe ọ̀rọ̀ wọn di olówó ọ̀sán gan. And yet, as we continue to say it the way it is, Yoruba people will never succeed inside Nigeria. Yoruba people will never become something within Nigeria. It is time that we allow Nigeria to go. There is no amount of your prayer, there is no amount of your calling the God that will rescue you anymore. What needs to be done now is for Bola Tinubu, the president, to divide Nigeria and allow everybody to go their separate ways. If not, Nigeria will be a worst case scenario more than Yugoslavia. I greet you and I welcome you into the transmission this morning. As we continue our awareness and campaign, as we continue to enlighten many Nigerians that the unity will never be there, David Mark, a criminal that wanted to enrich himself, endorsed and supported Babangida to kill MK Abiola. Today, David Mark is still alive, another criminal within Nigeria. Some of you might not know him, but David Mark was one of the instruments that was used during the annulment of 1993 election. Many of them like that are still alive. And you can see how the gathering in Abuja went as they were all laughing that we, the Nigerians, the indigenous people, the stupid ones that still believe that INEC will create a better result for you in an election. Many Nigerians that are stupid, dumb bastard, waiting that one day it will be their turn to be a senator and steal money and kill innocent Nigerians for their own selfish gain. The end of Nigeria is getting closer, and the international community would have to accept that, whether they like it or not. Yesterday, as I continue to tell you all the news coming out of Nigeria, the American representative, the American ambassador visited all the governors in Abuja, and the question is for what? What is the reason? Why, as the American ambassador to Nigeria decided to call all our governors, can we call all the governors in America and bring them on the round table? Can President Bola Tinubu use our American ambassador in America to call on the governors and tell them to come down and they can talk to them? This is how the West still continue to see us as puppets. What was the discussion that the U.S. ambassador decided to call all our governors as if they are calling their children within Nigeria to talk to them? Ṣé President Bola Tinubu instructed the Nigerian representative ambassador to call all the governors within the 52 states of America and ask if they want to see or tó ń bá fẹ́ rí wọn? But this happened right in Nigeria yesterday. Let me quickly give you what we know so far Also, I'll be telling you what was the reason why the British deputy ambassador in Nigeria paid a courtesy visit to Ooni of Ife. Are they worried that the Yoruba people are now crying out that they will leave Nigeria, whether by peace or by whatever means? If peace does not work, then whatever means that will allow us to be free from the bondage to retain back our true identity would have no other choice than to do so. My name is Olayomi Koiki. As we continue to educate you and give you all the reason why Nigeria must now break up. American ambassador ó pe gbogbo àwọn gómìnà sí Abuja. Imagine an ambassador calling our governors and say, come, ẹ máa bọ̀. Òun ní ọ̀rọ̀ tó ń fẹ́ bá yín sọ. Kí ni nǹkan tó sọ? Kí ni ìwúlò nǹkan tó sọ? Kí ni àǹfààní nǹkan tó sọ? This is what happened in Abuja some few days ago. Let's listen. That is how the governors were all walking in as if the student is being called by their principal. Nigeria is no longer working, and it is time that the America, the European allow Nigeria to dissolve before Nigeria goes into chaos. They were all going in one at a time. A white man has called the black people to sit and continue to fool us as they've done, as America continue to fund the Boko Haram. Àwọn gómìnà ló wọlé lẹ́yọ kọ̀ọ̀kan ní méjì láti ilẹ̀ Haúsá, ilẹ̀ Ìgbò, ilẹ̀ Yorùbá nígbà tí ambassador Amẹ́ríkà tó pè wọ́n èyí tó rẹpísẹ́ǹtì wọn Amẹ́ríkà nílùú Nàìjíríà. Arákùnrin tó ń pè ní Richard Mills, the United States ambassador to Nigeria, has also dismissed allegation that U.S. agency for international development, something the USAID, fund Boko Haram or other terrorist organizations. Inú pàdé náà lọ́wọ́ àìtẹ́ ń wò yìí. Àwọn gọ́vùnà wa lọ́rẹ́ ní gúúsùgúúsù nígbà tí ọmọ skul kó lọ sí skul tí principal fi bá sọ̀rọ̀. Ẹ wo bí ayé wa ṣe ta sínú Nàìjíríà. Ẹja gbọ́n kan tó fi sọ.
Useful and productive meeting with the governors here at the Governors Forum. I outlined my vision for where the U.S.-Nigerian relationship is headed.
Let me quickly analyze that. The U.S.-Nigeria relationship is no longer going to work. It needs to now dissolve. There can be a Biafra-U.S. relation. There can be Hausa-U.S. relation. There can be Middle Belt U.S. relation, and there can be Yoruba-U.S. relation. But the relationship between Nigeria and the U.S. must now stop because it is no longer working for the indigenous people. America representatives were on seat when MK Abiola died. Condoleezza Rice, as we know, was the U.S. secretary when the late MK Abiola was killed. And we know what happened after that. We know how many things we have heard. The tea, the cup of tea, and this, hate him or like him. And I'm just reminding you Yoruba people that we have enemies within and enemy outside. According to Femi Kayode, on the June 9, 2013, MK Abiola, Susan Rice, and a deadly cup of tea. Now we have known how MK Abiola died. I'll come back to that in a minute. Let's hear more. As the U.S. ambassador is now also denying that there was no evidence that the USAID was funding Boko Haram, even though their senator said so, that the evidence is clear. It is time that we tell the international community that we are tired and we have had enough of the contraction called Nigeria, and the indigenous people needs to retain their right to self-determination peacefully and non-violent. But if care is not taken and they do not accept such, then Yugoslavia situation will be worse than Nigeria. And I hope some of you understand what happened during the Yugoslavia. Bloodstream, yet many countries pull out of Yugoslavia. Yugoslavia eventually became a breakup, and that breakup brought out many other beautiful countries out of that crazy country that was called Yugoslavia. The same thing is going to happen in Nigeria, because whether you like it or not, the sooner you accept and believe it, or before it goes into something else, Nigeria is at the verge of breakup. The breakup of Yugoslavia began in 1980 and ended in 2006. The Socialist Federal Republic of Yugoslavia dissolved into several independent countries. Nigeria would also dissolve into many nations. And the end is getting closer for those of you that still do not accept. But Babangida is telling us that we should forgive him. Yet, the American government is calling the US ambassador in Nigeria to go speak to all the 36 states. Who the hell is America to be calling those governors? Can President Bola Tinubu call all the governors in America to a conference in America? Ṣé President Bola Ahmed Tinubu ó lè lo the US ambassador in America and call all the governors in America and bring them on the round table and be having discussion? This is what will not be tolerated in a Yoruba country. They know that already. If the puppet governors cannot understand that, it is time that you as a Yoruba man understand that your enemies is within and outside. Let's hear more from the US ambassador to Nigeria. School. And this was the outcome of the meeting yesterday. I don't know whether it was yesterday, but this is what I picked up from the channel's television.
Here and under a new administration, I explained to them we're going to be focusing on 4 key priorities over the coming years. The first is how to improve the business environment.
Who is the business environment has helped between Nigeria and America in the last 64 years? That will benefit. She will benefit. Since the relationship between Nigeria and America, the relationship between European and Nigeria, UK and Nigeria, have you ever benefited any jack shit from America? Kilo benefit. Rather than benefit inside Nigeria, we all jack back to America for a better and a greener pasture. Because those relationships only favor those that will favor the 1% within Nigeria. Who is stupid? You can see why it is important that they don't want Yoruba people to have their own country. They know that Tabagba country, things will not be the same. We will dictate. We would have good communication. We will have good relationship. The business between Yoruba country and America must reflect on the citizen, not just the minority within Nigeria as it stands right now. So ìwọ tí à ń sọ fún pé Yoruba country lọ́nà àbáyọ, America náà ti mú nǹkan mẹ́rin wá fún Nigeria. Ó wá pass message yẹn fáwọn governor ọlọ́pọ̀ fún gbogbo àwọn ọmọ tó ń pera wọn ní Nigeria, dumb bastard. This again is how the US ambassador tó pè rẹ̀ ní Richard Mills, the United States to Nigeria, Richard Mills, also dismissed allegation that the United States Agency for International Development, known as the USAID, fund Boko Haram or other terrorist organizations. Mills, who met with the members of the Nigerian Governors Forum in Abuja on Wednesday night, alẹ́ ni wọ́n ṣèpàdé, alẹ́ ló ń ṣèpàdé òru, ìpàdé kọ̀kọ̀, ìpàdé tó fi destroy ilẹ̀ Yorùbá, òru ló ń ṣe. While you are sleeping, Nigeria continue to be planned in the middle of the night. In the night when most Nigerians do not have electricity to know what is happening within their surroundings. Nigeria is sitting on a keg of gunpowder. And it is important that Tinubu understand this, that Yugoslavia was powerful. But the breakup of Yugoslavia did happen. The split happened. And there are various reasons for the country's breakup, ranging from cultural, religious division between ethnic groups making up the nation to the memories of World War II atrocity committed by all sides, just like the committed atrocity by Gowon killing 5 million Biafra, the deadliest war, the deadliest genocide. Gowon is still alive, and yet nothing has been done. Gowon was 32 years old when he was the head of state. He is now in his 80s, and yet they are still telling us what to do. Ó jẹ́ kí orí wa pé and know what to do because we all adults. Gowon cannot still dictate to us, but we have given them the room to dictate. When the rally is called, don't come out. Most of you will suffer the injustice for a very long time. Tọ́ba ti ní ká jáde kó má jáde, you will be the one to suffer because some of us might just abandon you for you to suffer with those elements of criminals. But we don't want to abandon anybody. That is why we are preparing our mind. And we are preparing our mind to understand that nobody will free you, not even America, not even Great Britain. Let's hear more. But who understand that many countries eventually pull out of Yugoslavia. 7 countries will come out of Nigeria, if not more. But the Yoruba people that are 60 million have the right. Armenia is 3 million in population and is a country. Yoruba are 60 million and we don't need Nigeria because Nigeria is no longer valuable working for we, the Yoruba indigenous people. Croatia, Montenegro, Serbia, Slovenia, Bosnia, Herzegovina, and Macedonia. These are countries that pulled out from Yugoslavia in 2006. Yele Yoruba ma pull out. The declaration of Yoruba people will happen, and it must happen very, very fast so that we can defend our territory with our blood and protect us from the invaders within the Yoruba territory. And many Yoruba people that have compromised because they wanted to live a better life, given oil block by Babangida. Most of them are all in that room when Babangida was launching his fake book after they killed MK Abiola. Let's hear more from these representatives of America. What today? Coming in and out, vehicle to come and tell us that Nigeria will be a better place. Knowing fully well that Nigeria can never be a better place as David Lammy continued to tell lies. By 2075, Nigeria will be a top 5 economy in the world. Irọ́ ló wà níbẹ̀, kò sí òtítọ́ ẹyọ kan nínú ẹ̀. Tó bá dúró de gbogbo táwọn òyìnbó bá sọ fún ẹ, ikú ti pa ẹ́, bó ṣe pa MK Abiola. Because àwọn òyìnbó assure MK Abiola. I remember when MK Abiola was picked up from his residence in Ikeja, he was speaking to BBC. The same people that are British Bias Corporation, eventually MKO got killed while Condoleezza Rice brought whatever she bought. But we know that the last thing MK Abiola had was a tea, and he died. He never made it out. Babangida is not telling Nigerians to forgive and forget and accept the fate that Abiola sacrificed himself, and yet is happy that Buhari, another Fulani man, has now made Abiola a president that was never meant to be. How do you feel as a Yoruba man? Ó jẹ́ ká wà lójú títì látànà, ẹ̀rí pé gbogbo wa tó lọ sùn. Àbí? Ó jẹ́ kí gbogbo wa ti bọ́ sójú títì látànà to demand that MK Abiola's death must not go in vain. But nobody wants to go out anymore. They are now waiting for Igboho, the one that will come and liberate us. Because all those that should liberate us have all been either killed, chased out of Nigeria, or given one kind of inducement within Nigeria. Ẹni tó gba oil block, ó ti gba minister. Ẹni tó gba minister, ó ti gba governor. Ẹni tó gba governor, ó ti gba house of rep. Kódà ẹni tó gba house of rep, ó ní kọ́kọ́ fóun ní ojú títì Lagos State kó o máa gbá. So nobody wants to come out and fight anymore. You can see the division within Nigeria today. The way tí wọ́n announce pé àwọn làwọn pa Abiola, that the election was annulled in 1993. Ó yẹ ká tún jáde padà ni. Ó yẹ ká wà lójú títì ká máa demand for, we do not want to be part of this country anymore. But ọtí fáwọn kan ní National Road Transportation Union president. Or ti fáwọn kan ní different depending on your grade, they know that the Yoruba people love money so much. So tó bá ti fún wọn lówó, wọ́n ti sọ̀rọ̀, ọ̀dà ò sọ̀rọ̀ mọ́, ọba ò sọ̀rọ̀, baálẹ̀ ò sọ̀rọ̀, ìjòyè ò sọ̀rọ̀. Àbí bẹ́ẹ̀ kọ́?
So there's more trade between the United States and Nigeria?
All the trade, I'm asking you, Mr. Ambassador, all the trade that has occurred within Nigeria in the last 64 years between America and Nigeria, who has benefited it? Ta ló jàǹfààní ẹ̀? Who benefited from all this trade? Okòwò tẹ́lẹ̀ ń bá Nàìjíríà ṣe, ta ló benefit? Nobody, because kò benefit èmi, and I'm sure we will benefit many people as well. Nigeria must now allow indigenous people to live and live before it is too late. If not, wàhálà tó máa wá sí Nigeria ó máa ju ti Yugoslavia lọ.
Both sides. Second, a new renewed focus on improving transparency, accountability in this country, how to fight corruption.
You cannot fight corruption, Mr. Ambassador, and you know that better than me. How do you fight corruption when everybody is a stakeholder in this criminal country you call Nigeria? You think you can deceive us? You have been telling us that they are fighting corruption in Nigeria, yet many money end up in American banks. The one that we know lately was Alison Madueke designing how money that was meant for people within Nigeria end up right inside America. Designing, as we know right now, Alison Madueke has been charged in the United Kingdom. She has been charged for corruption by the National Crime Agency in the UK. A case will be heard this year, and I will be in the court, God willing, to witness that case, subject to how our rally goes as well, because I cannot be in two places simultaneously. We pray that our rally will bring out our final result, and we pray it will be done swiftly, neatly, and our demands will be met. If not, we will remain outside until our demands are met. But we will continue to update you about how Alison Madueke, another criminal within Nigeria, Deizani Alison Madueke, according to the BBC, in an alleged stolen fund to Nigeria, close to $53 million, almost 43 million pounds, in an alleged illicit fund has been recovered from Nigerian former oil minister Alison Madueke Deizani, a criminal, as we know within Nigeria, but allegation within the UK. But I can call her a criminal because that is what the Nigerian government is calling her. She's wanted in Nigeria. She ran out of Nigeria, deceiving us through Daily Momodu that she had a cancer. Alison Madueke is a fraudster, used Nigerian money with her boyfriend Aluko and many criminals within Yoruba, Igbos, and Hausa to steal funds meant for indigenous people out of Nigeria to America. And if this ambassador is telling us about corruption, they better keep their mouth shut, because no corruption can end in Nigeria. The only way we can end corruption is when we have our own independent indigenous people having their own country. Alison Madueke used the public fund services. Among others, will be used to fund public services, the country justice minister said. The money is being sent back to Nigeria from the United States, whose authority alleged that Alison Madueke enriched herself, just like IBB gave money to many people within Nigeria, gave them oil block, turned them into billionaires. And they are the same people donating money to Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, the former military dictator that killed MK Abiola, that killed innocent military officers, that did coup and turned that coup to become enemies against people. Let's go to Dr. Kemi Olunloyo 8 hours ago on Facebook. Today is a very sad day in Nigeria. I come back to the US ambassador. I just want to bring this in quickly as I remember. Today is a sad day in Nigeria. Nigeria has always been a sad day since 1914 fraudulent amalgamation by the British that hated the Yoruba people so much never gave Awolowo the chance to become the leader within the Nigeria that was put together. Wọ́n mọ̀ pé táwọn bá fún Awolowo ní opportunity níjọ́ náà lọ́hùn. The British rigged the election in 1959. Wọ́n mọ̀ ihun tí Awolowo máa ṣe. The hatred that the British have for us is what we are experiencing in Nigeria today. Kemi Olunloyo went further. Mark down February 20, 2025 for your kids and grandkids. Nigeria will not exist, so we can still remember whatever happened in Nigeria after Tabatifi Nigeria Select. Just like we are using the case study of Yugoslavia, last Shedumari, in Jesus' name, Inshallah, Nigeria will use as case study for the next country to break up. The way Yugoslavia tan lo leni, the same way ló máa lo Nigeria náà láìpẹ́ láì jìnnà lórúkọ àwọn tó nílẹ̀ Yorùbá, because we will not back down and we will not give up, and we will do everything to use to prepare our mind for whatever circumstances or scenarios that will play out. 2025 will be a year that we will remember, but we must prepare our mind for whatever circumstances. Tó bá máa bọ́ sórí M1, ẹ jẹ́ kó bọ́ sórí M1. Ẹni tó bá kú á kú, ẹni tó bá máa yè á máa gbádùn ẹ̀ lọ. I told Nigerians, stupid Nigerians, bomb bastard Nigerians, olórí burúkú Nigerians that are thinking that they have a country. Àwọn olóṣì. I am a Nigerian. Yet you have never tasted anything out of Nigeria. Ìyà ló ń jẹ lójoojúmọ́. Common hospital you cannot go. Common healthcare you cannot find yourself in. Beggy on social media. Beggy on social media. Abi, is that not what we have turned ourselves into? Including myself, beggy. But not all of us, because some of us understand that Nigeria was a failure. That's why we ran out of Nigeria in 1998 when I left that shithole country. 1998 is about almost 25 years ago. I left that your corrupt Olori Buruku country that will never work. One bastard all over the place. Let's take it back again. Today is a very sad day in Nigeria. This is put together by Kemi Olunloyo, doctor, well-respected Yoruba woman that many of you are calling mad woman. Ẹni ṣoríire, especially ẹ̀yin ọmọ Igbo yẹn, ẹni ṣoríire. Ẹ̀yin ọmọ Igbo people that continue to abuse Kemi Olunloyo, ẹni ṣoríire. It don't go better for you now. Ẹni ṣoríire. Gbogbo àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá tó bá bú Dr. Kemi Olunloyo, ẹni ṣoríire. Especially the Igbo people that continue to call her mad people because she put out the video on the spot. Bomb bastard. How many of you can have 2 PhD? Bomb bastard, olórí burúkú ẹ̀yàn máa lè. Do you know what it means to have 2 PhD? You think Kemi Olunloyo is like a corrupt 419 politicians that cannot even have school sat. Even Adeleke does not have school sat. Ẹni ṣoríire. Gbogbo ẹni tó bá bú Dr. Kemi Olunloyo, ogun máa pa gbogbo yín ni, especially ẹ̀yin ọmọ Igbo yẹn. Continue to abuse her and say she's a mad woman. Your mother is a mad woman. Your papa is a mad woman. Bomb bastard, ẹni kúre. Especially the Igbo people, for continued intimidation on this Yoruba woman that is a precious to many of us, including myself, because she's a mentor. Ẹni ṣoríire ni mo sọ fún gbogbo yín. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ bá ń bú Dr. Kemi Olunloyo, ẹni ṣoríire, ogun máa pa gbogbo yín ni. Bomb bastard. Wọ́n ní gbọ́ sí lẹ́nu gbàtẹ́ pé lórí burúkú wọn Davido ló ń tẹ̀lé. Tí Davido bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí bú ìyá yẹn, òun náà dẹ̀ máa jìyà ẹ̀ láyé, ìyẹn Davido. Pé kò ní jìyà yẹn rọ́ ló pa. Wọ́n fi kú yànyàn ni. Kékeré ló sì rí pẹ̀lú ọmọ ẹ̀ tó kú. Kó má lọ apologize to Dr. Kemi Olunloyo. Ká máa padà wá báwo náà. Èèyàn máa lè. Common university púpọ̀ ní yóò lè kọ́. Common sentence ẹ̀ lè kọ́ nínú Nàìjíríà. Common sentence. Compare yourself to somebody that have 2 PhD. Do you know what it means? Do you know what it means to have 2 PhD? Idiot all over the place. The best journalist we can ever think of in that contraction called Nigeria. Today is a very sad day in Nigeria. History Mark down February 20th, 2025 for your kids and grandkids. I told Nigerians in 2015 and 2020 what Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, called IBB, the criminal that killed MK Abiola, said today. General David Mark, Olori Buruku David Mark, Olori Buruku David Mark, you no go better for you, David Mark. Oh, ní ṣoríire, àwọn ọmọ ṣì máa kú mọ́ ẹ lọ́wọ́ ni. Gbogbo tó bá ní ò ní jèrè ẹ̀. Gbogbo tó bá ní pátápátá ò ní jèrè ẹ̀. Ìwọ tó ń pèrè ní David Mark. Ò ní jèrè ẹ̀ láyé, ò ní jèrè ẹ̀ lọ́run. General David Mark threatened MK Abiola unless IBB annul the election in his exact words. If you don't cancel that Abiola win, ìyẹn David Mark ló sọ bẹ́ẹ̀, we will kill him ourselves. Wọ́n padà pa náà ni. Where's MKO today? He was killed by those he trusted. Those he put his life to think that they are better, they will look after him. Even some of our kings wọ́n gbọ̀wọ́ lórí MKO Abiola. Mo kí bàbá wa Ojale, a man that stood firm and says, if you don't give us MKO Abiola, we will not allow Nigeria to have peace. This day, Chief Edwin Clark and Chief Ayo Adebanjo both died almost same time last week, if not this week. Should be alive. They both passed away earlier this week. When I tweeted these, David Mark late son, that's what they do. Wọ́n máa ń fọmọ wọn dájọ́ ni, àwọn olórí burúkú politician. Wọ́n máa ń fi àwọn ọmọ wọn dájọ́ ni, àwọn olè. Ìkan náà àwọn ọmọ ẹ̀ ti kú, ó ti fi dájọ́. The late David Mark's son, Tunde, continued to threaten Dr. Kemi Odunloyo on Facebook. Ìmọ̀ òun náà wà lẹ́nu nísìn, ó ti kú dànù, ó ti lọ́ntì ẹ̀. One bastard. But I did not back down. You never back down for the truth because òtítọ́ ló máa lékè. Òtítọ́ ló dẹ̀ máa lékè lọ́rọ̀ tá gbé dání. Because the truth will break Nigeria. And the only truth is, we continue to tell you the gospel truth. Not the one Baba Adeboye is telling you, or Yadura, or all these pastors and imams and Babalawo. The only truth is the campaign for self-determination. That is where the truth is right now. Apart from very loyal pastors that understand that Nigeria is bedeviled. Pastor like Mayowa, pastor like Prophet Ayo, Prophet Adebayo, David King Leo. Those are true prophets that knows that Nigeria is full of blood. The flag is already full of blood, according to prophets and many others that have spoken. But if you're waiting for Baba Adeboye to come and tell you that Nigeria will break up, you will wait forever. David Mark helped steal a mandate. The mandate of MK Abiola, David Mark wà lára àwọn tó jí. David Mark is still alive today while MK Abiola is dead. The then went on to become a Benue senator, sacrificed because of the senator. David Mark also ended up become the Senate president, earning 1.5 billion allocation allowances. That was what David Mark was making, 1.5 billion naira. Ibrahim Babangida and David Mark and others killed late MK Abiola, a Yoruba man. There will never be peace in Nigeria. There will never be unity in Nigeria. The end of Nigeria is getting closer, and we will continue to tell the international community that. They killed MK Abiola's dream. Abiola never became a president. He died in the prison after drinking a tea. Another reason I will never practice journalism in Nigeria, no believability and constant branding a mad woman. They constantly brand her a mad woman, especially the Igbos. I won't wish. and not the Biafra. And if you're a Biafra that abused Dr. Kemi Olunloyo, it no go better for you as well. Oh, Nishoriri. Bomb bastard all over the place. May God forgive you all. God will never forgive you until you all apologize to this woman. You will never find a journalist like Dr. Kemi Olunloyo in that contraction because they are all puppets to the politicians with brown envelope. Every single one of them do not have the balls to speak. That's why Dr. Kemi Olunloyo has also left that shit old country called Nigeria. When we have Yoruba country, she must return back and be given a position by the new government of Yoruba people as quickly as possible. Níjọ́ tá bá ti gba country wa, we must bring back many brains like Dr. Kemi Olunloyo to become the next government representative. For those of you bastards, who will be the next? Who will be your representative? Dr. Kemi Olunloyo can be one representative because she has what it takes upstairs. Not some of your criminal governors that cannot protect you from Fulani that are killing you within your state called Yoruba land, in your Mali. Today, I watch all Ibrahim Babangida proteges. Do you know what they call proteges? Hey, Lemon. How do you know all these? Because they don't want you to know. Proteges, these are the ones Babangida turned to billionaires, millionaires, in dollars, in naira, in pound sterling. So when we use the word protege, spell Papa, Romeo, Oscar, Tango, spell Papa, Romeo, Papa, Romeo, S, Oscar, Tango, Echo, Golf, Echo. Pronounce as
protégé.
Protege.
Protégé.
Bear with me, not too sure why this is coming. I know why, because I'm not in the United Kingdom, and that's the reason why. Protege is not in French. I don't want it French. I don't need any French. No, but French, not in English.
Protégé.
Protege.
Protégé.
A person, those that Babangida, Sodolowo, Songon, the Alakijas, name many of them, you will find them all contributed to the 17 billion money that was raised for a man that is dying slowly. He will not die straight away. Only wheelchair, but we don't expect him to die now. He will die slowly. Yoruba country must come out quickly so that Babangida and the rest of them will know that we are not joking. And we don't have the time. And whatever it takes, let's prepare for it.
Protégé.
A person who is guided and supported by an older and more experienced or influential person. We heard Tinubu saying, without Babangida, it will not be who he is today as well. All criminals. Kemi Olunloyo, doctor, says, and I quote, I watch Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, the killer of Delegiwa and the killer of many military personnel in Nigeria and the killer of the late MKO Abiola with David Mark and others. Some who got oil block like Otto Eze, they will praise him. Wọ́n máa ládìí náà nígbà tó yẹ pé àwọn ni Babangida kówó fún tó sọdọ̀ lówó. So what do you expect people like Otto Eze praising him that Ibrahim Babangida made him? Òun ló sọ òun di tóun dì lẹ́nu. Use our own resources to become who they are today. And you are there thinking that Nigeria will be a better place. Oh man, bomb bastards all over the place. I did not see Deji Adeleke, Okwabe, another oil block beneficiary. Do you know the meaning of giving oil block to somebody? A resources that is meant to be used by every indigenous people within Nigeria, and they gave it to Alakija, gave it to Deji Adeleke, gave it to Otto Eze. Babangida pín fún gbogbo wọn. And that's why they have kept their mouth shut, knowing that Babangida killed Abiola with David Mark. And Yoruba people went to bed since Thursday when they had that book launch. So a Katima protest, but nobody wants to come out. Because the new government will not bribe gbogbo yín, wọ́n ti fowó dìbò, wọ́n ti fowó bà lámọ̀rẹ́ ayé wa jẹ́. Wọ́n ti fi owó bà àlámọ̀rẹ́ ayé wa jẹ́, kò sẹ́ni tó fẹ́ jáde. Ìyẹn la ṣe ń pa àwọn èèyàn fún Yorùbá nation ká máa béèrè pé èlò la máa fún àwọn bomb bastard. Ẹ bá wọn ìkẹ́ jáde, ó máa ìkẹ́ máa jáde. bó bá wùn ìkẹ́ jáde bó bá wùn ìkẹ́ má jáde ìyà ò jẹ àwọn ọmọ olóyè Ìgbòho Fúlàní ò dẹ̀ lè mú olóyè wọ́n tó bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mo sọ gbogbo ẹnu mo fi sọ wọ́n tó bẹ́ẹ̀ 1 million Fúlàní ò lè dá dúró ẹ lọ bèrè lọ́wọ́ Ọbásanjọ́ ìtọ́jú ẹ̀rí ní 2007 the same Ọbásanjọ́ that Awujale says wanted to destroy Adenuga because they are all the same gbogbo ọlọ́mọra wọn ó lè ló mọ ẹsẹ̀ ó lè tọ̀ because Babangida mọ̀ pé ó lè nìyẹn náà ó dẹ̀ mọ̀ pé àwọn kan ló fọ́ndẹ̀ even though mo sọ fún wa pé ibìkan lòun ti lọ yá owó tóun fi ṣe glo ta lè fẹ́ máa fún ta lọ dẹ̀ ẹrù pé gbogbo wa lórí wọ̀ pé ta ló mọ̀ pé owó Nàìjíríà ní gbogbo yín fi dìde ẹ̀yin olóṣò lè olórí burúkú ẹ̀yin ó lè gbogbo yín pátá lè fowó Nàìjíríà dìde alákìjáde ó di pásítọ̀ ọ̀sán kan nígbà tó gbé oil block fún tán tó dolówó ó wá ń campaign káwá lọ 7 bẹ́ẹ̀ ní sóríire gbogbo yín bẹ̀ ṣe ní káwá lọ 7 nìyẹn ẹ̀yin kówó dání ẹ̀dọ́lówó ẹ̀ ń gbádùn ẹ̀ wà ní air condition ẹ̀ ní security ẹ̀ lómi ẹ̀ níná ẹ̀ lè lọ sí ìlú òyìnbó ẹ̀ wá ní káwá kan wá lọ tá a bá dé heaven àlọ́pàdé Ọlọ́run àfipàdé Ọlọ́run nínú ilẹ̀ Yorùbá Ọlọ́run dúró ná ká tó lọ pàdé afẹ́ rí Ọlọ́run nílẹ̀ Yorùbá afẹ́ rí Ọlọ́run tó ní omi nílẹ̀ Yorùbá afẹ́ rí Ọlọ́run nílẹ̀ Yorùbá tó níná tó lómi tó ní welfare tó ní education tó ní security ibẹ̀ láti fẹ́ rí Ọlọ́run àti lọ 7 láti lọ rí Ọlọ́run ẹni ṣoríire gbogbo ìwòlíì gbogbo pásítọ̀ tẹ̀sán fún wa pé ká wá lọ ẹni kúure gbogbo ìtẹ́bá ní ká lọ rí Ọlọ́run if you die you go to heaven no àfẹ́ kú nísìn àfẹ́ gbádùn lẹ̀ Yorùbá ká tó kú àfẹ́ rí Ọlọ́run nílẹ̀ Yorùbá bomb bastard all over the place ẹ̀yin ìka ẹ̀yin jẹgúrú jẹrá mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin wòlíì gidi àtẹ̀yin àfáà gidi ẹ wọnúlé alúwà lọ́kẹ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí fún aládùúrà bá ṣe máa jáde kí wòlíì kankan máa rìnrìn ọ̀fọ̀ kankan sí wa pé káfẹ́ ẹ báyìí ti jáde ẹ ṣe sùúrù díẹ̀ ogun máa pa gbogbo yín ni ogun lẹ Yorùbá gbọ́dọ̀ pa yín ni ẹ bá ní ká máa ti jáde ẹ ní ṣoríire bomb bastard all over the place. Today, oil block beneficiary, they all started their energy company with Nigerian taxpayers' oil. That is why Saudi Arabia is far better than us because Saudi Arabia refused to give anybody oil block. Do you know what it means to give people oil block? Give people oil block that the country is meant to control. Wọ́n gbé fún àwọn individual gbé fún Shell àwọn olórí burúkú wọ́n gbé fún different energy companies around the world and destroy everywhere. Reason why they killed Ken Saro-Wiwa in 1995 by another criminal Fulani man tó pé rẹ̀ ní Abacha tó ibi tó bá kú sí ó máa kú síbẹ̀ náà ni kò ní spirit ò ní káàkiri kankan mọ́ àwọn olóṣì olórí burúkú àwọn olè wọ́n múlẹ̀ Yorùbá wọ́n turn upside down wọ́n mú ibi tó epo wà nílẹ̀ àwọn tó nípo wọ́n turn upside down àwọn tó fi lọ́pọ̀ ẹja ò lè rí ẹja pa wọ́n destroy pollution all over the place environmental damage all over the place. Shell refused to pay the price for clean up today. They all started their energy companies with Nigerian taxpayers' oil. Otto Eze donated 500 million. Oh, what donate 500 million? And it took you. Do you know what it means to have oil block? 500 million is like just having 1 pence.